Hello, welcome to easyodds.com YouTube channel. My name is Ross Casey. I'm with the horse racing extraordinaire, that is Jake Johns. We're here to talk about the Coral Eclipse happening at Sandown on Saturday, Group 1 race. But before we do, shall we briefly talk about the Irish Derby where you were agonisingly close last week?
It was the most painful, I said it on Twitter, it was the most painful betting day I've had in such a long time. I had a really annoyingly close second in the Northumberland plate at Newcastle as well, where Josephine Gordon came like she was going to win and then just got done by a higher class horse basically. She was still well handicapped. It was clearly a plan for a long way out, but the horse that won was just a little bit better. Irish Derby, Cracksman, I would say definitely the best horse in the race. I mean, Pat Smurlin had to make a decision early on, wrong decision. I don't know why they held up a horse that's got so much stamina in a race like that wasn't run very, very quickly like the Derby. He had to make a prediction whether it's going to be run quickly or not. He probably saw those two that ran up there in the Derby up there again, so he thought maybe they're going to run fast, but they didn't. He was held up. I've got done by a AP O'Brien tactical masterclass again. They fanned 5 wide on the turn. Cracksman had to come really wide, stayed on like a monster, and just wasn't good enough to get there. It was a really, really good ride by Shamey Heffman on the winner, Capri, but at the end of the day, I think my selection was the best horse in the race. But you know, that's just how it goes sometimes. I could have considered maybe that the APA O'Brien tactics factor a little bit more. Capri's a very good horse. I think Cracksman should go for the St Ledger. It seems like he stays all day. So on breeding, it doesn't seem like he should stay that far, but it looks like he's going to be able to stay all day. So I think I reckon he'll go a favourite for the St Ledger on the day when he gets to it. But now it's the Coral Eclipse. Okay, Coral Eclipse is actually one of my favourite races of the entire flat year because we get to see the 3-year-olds up against the older horses. Finally, how good is this 3-year-old bunch? We don't really know that for sure at the moment, but they're taking on the old distance now. We've got a mile, one of the top 3-year-old milers taking on some of the top middle distance 3-year-olds as well, so we're comparing them as well. We get to see the Prince of Wales horses. How good was that Prince of Wales? But anyway, yeah. First thing, I'm not sure how these older horses are going to give away weight to the 3-year-olds. Lightning Spear still in the race. He's going to like the fast ground, but I'm not sure that this step up and trip is going to suit at all. A couple more came from the Prince of Wales. Decorated Knight and Ulysses, 2nd and 3rd in that race. I said before the Prince of Wales that was the worst Group 1 at the entire meeting, so I'm not sure what to make of the form. Decorated Knight and Ulysses were 2nd and 3rd in that race. Obviously the race was won by Highland Reel, the hardest horse in training, but I'm still not sure that was a very good race at all, so it's hard to kind of weigh up the form in terms of this race. Although Ulysses was a really impressive winner at Sandown a couple of starts back, so you know he's going to handle the track, which is quite a strange one compared to some. But yeah, I'm going to move on to 3-year-olds. You know, a couple with massive chances. First off, Eminent, legitimate excuses in the 2000 Guineas and in the Derby. Got no run in the Guineas in another tactical race by AP O'Brien, and didn't get much luck in the Epsom either. I don't think he handled the track that well. But I'm not sure he's the highest of class at the end of the day, and I think 9-2 is definitely short enough. 9-2 was the price when I last saw it anyway. Might even be a little bit shorter now. Cliffs of Moher was my tip for the Derby. Clearly improved loads from Chester, along with the winner, Winds of Eagles. He was 7-2 at the start of the week, which I thought that was actually pretty good value. He's now 7-4, which is ridiculously short. Like, that is just way, way, way too short. Things panned out really well for him at Epsom. A really strong pace suited him massively. And he's not sure to get that Sandown, although 10 furlongs is likely to be his best trip. And AP O'Brien has a really good record on this, but 7-4 is way too short. The one I like, unsurprisingly, is the boy, Barney Roy. Did plenty for me in the St James's Palace Stakes. Talked about that already, can't bother to talk about it again. Not ready to abandon him yet. He's stepping up to 10 furlongs for the first time, which is the reason that he's available at 4-1. But I don't see how Clifton Moher is 7-4 and Barney Roy is 4-1. I mean, there should not be that much disparity in their price. It should be way closer than that. I think the milers are probably better than the middle distance 3-year-olds this season on all form. Although the Derby has worked out pretty well with the Irish Derby form and a couple of other pieces. Rekindling one at the weekend as well. Lots have been said about his unlucky second in the 2000 Guineas. Churchill got the run of the race. But he managed to turn the tables, Son of Vic Celebration, managed to turn the tables in the St James's Palace Stakes, although Churchill didn't run his race, but still he did manage to turn the tables, and the sectionals of that race are really, really good as well. Makes me think that he could possibly be more suited to a mile, but he might just be better than these. And 4-1 is a really decent price. Sandown has a last 4 furlongs uphill, so it's pretty stiff uphill finish, so he's going to really need to stay. In running, it looked like further would actually suit, and before, in the other races before, he's been outpaced. It looks like he's been outpaced slightly, and he stays on really, really nicely in the last couple of furlongs. So it looks like the extra races might suit. Obviously, he's by a celebration, but he's out of the Galileo mare, so it's not the most insane thing in the world to think he's going to stay this extra couple furlongs. And people keep forgetting that the St James's Palace Stakes was actually only his 4th star ever. And there could be loads more to come. He was a little bit keen at the start of the race, even in the St James's Palace Stakes, but he's definitely settling down a lot better, especially if we consider his first run of the season at Newbury, really keen. Keen, again, massively keen in the Guineas, and then last time he was much better. So on that kind of trajectory, hopefully he can settle with which he's going to need to do over this further distance. I just think at the prices it's worth risking his ability to stay this trip. At 4-1 when, or 7, I think he's about 7-2 best price now, but one of the first of the tips to is 4-1. 7-2 still a decent price when you consider Clifford's Moher is 7-4, which is way too short for me, although the lads at Ballydoyle might have just got stuck into him in a big way and they might think he's an absolute certainty, so he could go off even shorter. I wrote these tips when there were 16 runners declared on Monday. And there's only been 9 final declarations. I really thought there was going to be a lot more than that. There's been quite a lot of noticeable absentees from the lineup. But I had one more because I thought there was going to be about 14, 15 runners. But another one that like an absolutely enormous price. I've actually backed it on Betfair at 100. It was available at 6-1 when I did the tips. 50-1 best price now is Saluen for Sylvester Kirk, son of Camper Cliffs. He first caught the eye in the Racing Post Trophy when he stayed on really well behind Rivet into 3rd. Looked like there could be lots more to come as a 3-year-old. And he hasn't won this season, but he's won a lot of races, eye-catching races in defeat. He started off the year when he was incredibly keen, obviously needed the run. Only just lost out to Khalidi, who's a really good horse at Newmarket. He then went to straight to the Derby, where he could not have been more unlucky in running. I mean, I would recommend anyone to watch that race because it is ridiculous. He was completely squeezed out coming after the turn, travelling really, really well at the time, almost came down, had to be shuffled right to the back of the pack, and then came back into it. Probably would have finished about 6, well, no, would have finished a lot closer, got badly hampered again, and just couldn't go anywhere. He couldn't have been more unlucky, and he was a massive eye-catcher in that race. Went off quite short for the King Edward at Royal Ascot. Fran Berry said in the blog before that race that he was going to, you had to be up with the pace to give him a chance, and then he held him up, so I don't know what the hell was going on there. He ran into trouble again at the finish. He probably wouldn't have won anyway. It was a bit of a disappointing run, but he would have gone closer with a clear run. And this 10 furlongs, I'm sure, is going to suit really, really well as well. The stiff 10 furlongs is going to suit. And he just, like I said, disappointed, but the clear run, he could easily run to the places, I think. Although obviously it's 3 places. I mean, it's not the most insane thing in the world. I just think 50-1 is just too big for him. He's a decent one each way, so I'll probably have a little one on him each way, even though there's only 9 runners because it's such a big price. But yeah, my main bet is Barney Roy at 4-1, and Saluen each way. I think it's 50-1 now.
Excellent stuff there from our man Jake Johns ahead of the Eclipse for this weekend. We recommend that you open an account with Bookie if you haven't got one already, because they'll be offering you a £20 free bet if you place a £20 stake. And with tips the size of 50-1 currently, with that second selection from Jake, that's a hefty amount of money if that comes in. So Bookie are the ones to open this week in our view. So thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, also comment on this video on the selections that Jake has made in the Eclipse. So thanks very much for watching. I've been Ross Casey. This is Jake Johns.